In the design of any good building, it responds to these three things. It responds to a program, and it responds to the site or the environment in which the building is built, and it responds to the technology of the time. I was particularly impressed with your approach to the matter of programming, because in some corporations, the chairman of the board or the head of the building committee will tell us what the program is, but you took an entirely opposite approach to that, and really much more democratic approach. And you said let the program emerge from the people who would use the building, and that's exactly what happened. We did interview about 184 people in great detail, and that together with the responses which we got from the different components was the basis for the program. Your building, which was designed in the 50s, reflects the thinking of the time. Changes in space requirements were met by moving partitions. But moving partitions is very expensive. In recent years, it cost as much as $1.5 million. A much larger cost, of course, is lost time, disruption to people, and general irritation. The primary reason for moving partitions is to make offices larger or smaller according to the rank of the occupant. But what goes on in an office is similar regardless of the great classification, such as processing paper, telephone calls, and small meetings. Top management challenged this tradition, the component representatives challenged it, and we challenged it also. If all offices were the same size, then instead of moving partitions around, we could achieve flexibility just by moving people. There were also many comments on the furnishings and the general reaction against status symbols. Whether or not, for instance, you have a corner office or an office in the center, or whether you get a wood wall or a settee or a marble coffee table. Most people felt that it would be sensible to cut back on these things. In addition, some people pointed out that the furniture wasn't particularly functional. This, for example, is hardly the best designed unit in the world. Many people asked for more conference rooms, both large and small, with better equipment. Another widely expressed desire was to have as few interior offices as possible. Everyone likes an outside view, and we'd like to provide a better working environment for all employees, including those who don't have private offices. We also face this problem, haphazard coffee-making equipment. It's unsanitary, rather dangerous, and uses a lot of energy. We recognize that if we didn't include it in the plans, it would crop up again as before. Also, the question of environmental control. Ideally, everybody would like to be able to control the temperature and the light in their offices. And then there was a general comment. We'd like a less institutional building, one that is warm, friendly, and uses a wide variety of colors and materials. So those were the kind of comments that we got and tried to respond to. After a lot of experimentation with full-size mock-ups, we found that a 13.5 by 13.5 foot square office would work very well and would satisfy all of the requirements that we set out. You could furnish it, let's say, with a desk around which 4 people could sit, a back counter, and because the room is square, the furniture could be arranged in any of the 3 walls. Or the furniture could consist of a conference table and a desk, or in the same size room you could put a conference table for 8 or 10 people, which was another popular request. In addition, this size room will accommodate 2 people very well, with enough space for files and for at least 2 other people visiting. Offices, however, are only one of our needs. We must have elevators, stairs, toilets, conference rooms, and a resource center for mail delivery, duplicating stationery supplies and communications devices. Coffee stations might also go into the resource centers. Since these elements don't need windows, we put them in the center of the building. But this means devoting more room to support services than would be justified by the number of offices. So we have to search for a different way to group the offices, and we start by adding on from 12 to 18 to 24 to 36. But now the ratio of exterior wall to the interior is increasing, and this is a problem because exterior walls are one of the most expensive elements in a building. So to keep the exterior wall at a minimum without sacrificing volume, we developed 2 different office shapes. They are the same size exactly, but one is a square and the other is a wedge. The final layout houses a total of 80 people in approximately 22,500 square feet. The next question was whether these units should be arranged in separate buildings, such as a campus, or whether they should radiate out from an administrative center. The second approach seemed more appropriate to the management philosophy and the present organization. This is how such a building arrangement might look. But now when you put in the parking, you face the terrible reality that there is a need for about 2,900 cars, so that we have moved out of the city and into the center of a parking lot. Something has to be done. We took one more look at the underground parking with the garage underneath the whole structure. The total expense for this approach, however, would be prohibitive. So we explored the possibility of putting the garage inside the building. This is the beginning of an actual building concept. The two gray areas are the parking. Central space would be dining and other central services, and the offices would be on the outside. As the building is now designed, our engineers have calculated that it's perhaps the most efficient building of this size and scale that's been developed to date.
Three seasons of the year, you can hardly see it. Amidst the rolling green Connecticut hills, you catch but an occasional glimpse of Union Carbide's home. In the heart of this wooded setting, left relatively undisturbed by the building and its access roads, Union Carbide's world headquarters is all but hidden from view. Sky, and you begin to get an idea of the magnitude. It's as if you'd taken a giant skyscraper and laid it on its side. 1/4 of a mile in length, as long as the Empire State Building is high. 1/8 of a mile wide. This is how a typical day starts, with a morning commute. Environmentally, the concept was to put up a totally contained unit, not surrounded by acres of parking lots. To accommodate the commuter, the building was designed with indoor parking on 4 levels. Carbiders simply drive in over the north or south bridges and park outside their office sections. The architects designed a series of 15 office sections, each 4 stories high, where each component could be on its own, virtually in its own building. There are 9 large sections and 6 smaller ones. Each section has its own stairwells. The 9 larger ones also have elevators. The north and south wings, identical in area and facilities, are connected by the center core, where most of the administrative services and conveniences are located. Here in the sections, Union Carbide adopted the concept of equal office space. All of the 2,350 offices are identical in area, though not in shape. Most of the offices are square, but there are some that are wedge-shaped. Each office has about the same amount of window space looking out upon the scenery. The offices are protected from the sun by reflecting glass awnings and have their own heat and air conditioning controls. Carbiders are given a choice of 15 different styles of office furniture, each with 2 color selections, and decors ranging from modern to traditional. For meetings, conference rooms are conveniently placed throughout the sections. Many secretarial stations are equipped with word processing systems for electronic storage, editing, and printing of documents. Some office sections even have their own word processing centers. With word processing, the sections can be linked to other units in the building or to Carbide offices around the country and abroad through electronic mail. Large sections have administrative support centers, which are connected to the building's electromechanical mail delivery system. Many are equipped with copier and facsimile machines, and each has a hot and cold beverage pantry and supply closet. Now that we've shown you what goes on in the sections, the individual offices, conference rooms, and administrative support centers, let's take a look at Center Core. To orient you properly, we'll show you a map of some of the key areas of Center Core, then take a more detailed look at some of its more interesting features. Center Core serves the entire headquarters, much as administrative support centers serve the sections. It stacks in one central area all the services essential to supporting the activities of both the people and the business of Union Carbide. The ability to use the latest communications technology is one of the operating concepts of this building. As we look at the center core, you'll see the impact of advanced telecommunications, video, special meeting techniques, and the computer. From the main gate, you've been through the reception lobby at ground level with indoor parking nearby. The ground floor is also home for the mailroom, security, a fitness center, the computers for the Unicom telecommunications system, and the television studio. When you think of video, you think of entertainment or news. But a corporation like Union Carbide uses video for a wide range of business communications. Nearby is the mailroom, where some 70,000 pieces of mail are processed daily. That's equivalent to serving a town with a population of 20,000 people. Since this building is so spread out, an electromechanical mail delivery system utilizing 2.5 miles of track and motorized trolleys are used to connect the 40 mail stations throughout the building with the central mailroom. Each of these carts is identified with a magnetic coding device. When they're sent on their way to any of the sections, their progress is monitored by this control panel. Computers are being used to increase the effectiveness of systems throughout headquarters. This is most evident in telecommunications. Unicom, a computer-based worldwide telecommunications system, makes it easy for people at headquarters to be in instant touch with Carbide locations throughout the U.S. and overseas.
Union Carbide, good afternoon. And should be omitted.
To give you an idea of the magnitude, over 35,000 calls go in and out daily. This telecommunications system also provides worldwide access to mainframe computers through telephone lines. A series of data terminals link 850 Carbide locations for messages via CRT, teletype, or word processor.
Thank you.
An electronic mail system allows instant transmission of administrative information, financial data, and customer order and shipment records. The way is open for even more sophisticated linkage between the computer and the telephone in the future.
Go ahead, S5.
Computers are also a vital part of the building's security system. CAS, the central alarm station on the ground floor, is the nerve center for the headquarters security force. It links all the building's audio and visual communication systems. From the ground floor, we move up to the first floor. Here is a series of conference and training rooms, a telephone and message center, and mezzanine lounge. It also contains the graphic and audio-visual services departments. The most noticeable feature of the first floor is the conference center. Here, conference rooms range in size from capacities of 8 to 14 to an auditorium which will seat up to 140. The meeting rooms are equipped for video playback, film and slide projection, and audio teleconferencing. From the conference center on the first floor, we continue to the second floor. Here we find the Unicor store, a notions shop, the cashier, money machines, and an information center. Also located here is the medical department, corporate library, and law library. This small news and notion shop sells newspapers and magazines, and those important little odds and ends for daily living. The Unicor store features a wide variety of items, including many of the company's products. It's like a small department store, and it's well stocked. Across from the company's store is the medical department. It's staffed and equipped to handle emergencies, periodical physical exams, testing, medical referrals, and fitness and health programs. Automatic banking machines dispense cash. Its computer interface arranges to debit an employee's own account, and company cashiers keep money and airline tickets moving. Now that you've seen the employee conveniences, let's take a look at the business services offered on the second floor. If you think this library is just a collection of books and periodicals, then take a second look. This, too, is a product of the computer age. The corporate library, like its neighbor, the law library, can access hundreds of databanks around the country. Through computer terminals, they can summon up almost any piece of business information that's needed. The library also has microfiche readers and printers. The third floor of Center Core is dedicated to food. The kitchen is flanked by the main cafeteria, where employees can find a wide variety of quality foods in a pleasant and varied atmosphere. And the West Cafeteria, which features a special salad bar. In the kitchen, a talented staff turns out an astonishing array of dishes. Everything is prepared on site, down to pies, cakes, and pizza dough. Feel like a sandwich? A choice of main dishes, hot soup, your own salad concoction. It's all here. Not only is there a wide range of foods, but there's also a choice of 6 specially designed dining areas. Take your pick. Skylights, fountains, a fireplace. From the West Cafeteria, a view of the countryside. In addition to serving the headquarters staff for breakfast and lunch, these rooms can be converted to elegant locations for corporate receptions and dinners with gourmet food all prepared on site. When the weather's nice, employees can work off all that good food by taking a brief walk on the fitness trail. The trail's also very popular with runners after working hours. There's also a fully equipped fitness center on the ground floor with showers and locker rooms. The last area of Center Core to see is the 4th floor, which serves Carbide's senior management. Located here is the boardroom, a management information center, 3 special meeting rooms, and the conference dining suites. This is the reception area outside the boardroom and the Management Information Center. The Management Information Center is a specially designed, computerized conference room for upper management presentations. In here is the boardroom. Let's take a look inside. Union Carbide's Board of Directors meets 10 times a year, mostly in this room. It features the latest in communications capabilities, rear screen video, film and slide projection, and audio playback. A central computer controls all the audio-visual devices for this room, the Management Information Center, and 3 special meeting rooms. There are also conference dining suites on this floor. Here, meals prepared in the main kitchen are served for special meetings. Union Carbide's headquarters. The location is Danbury, Connecticut, but the thinking is worldwide. In the words of the building's architect, Kevin Roach,
the principles we kept in mind were that the corporation is really composed of people. We try to create a building that will be orderly, sensible, friendly, and useful, as pleasant an environment as possible, open and free, really forward-looking technologically, because we thought that would be the best way to express what Union Carbide really is.
That's the thrust of this building, this world headquarters. A building designed to give Carbiders the working environment and support they will need to conduct business in the coming decades. Union Carbide's world headquarters in Danbury. The building is finished. The future begins.